How's it going, everyone? Cody Bernardi here with another YouTube video. And in today's video, I want to talk about how Iran is on a technical level able to turn off the internet to the entire country. I might make a video, more extensive, more in-depth video as we get more information on what is actually happening in the country. But I want to share some information on what is publicly available and why, well, not why, but how the Iranian government is able to turn off the internet just to the entire country, because that idea is hard to conceptualize if you work in cybersecurity or networking. Maybe if you work in networking, you might be able to understand how this happens, or if you're just like a general person that is interested in like technical parts of the internet and all of that. So before I go on, if you're new here, my name's Cody. I am an Army cyber vet. I was in a cyber protection team. Before that, I was a network operations center technician, and currently I'm a senior cybersecurity engineer at a Fortune 100 company. And I've been doing this for over 10 years now, 13 now, 2013. So let's talk about, on a technical level, how and what Iran currently looks like. So obviously you hear on like BBC, CNN, wherever you get your news, that there is an internet blackout in Iran. But what does that actually mean on a technical level? So what we have right here is Cloudflare radar. And if you watch me, you probably know what Cloudflare is, but I'll sum it up. They are a large CDN and they host a lot and serve a lot of internet traffic. So all of the information that Cloudflare provides as far as internet activity goes and internet data, take it as the source of truth. There's other ones out there, but for the most part, Cloudflare is going to be one of the main providers of internet traffic. So right here we have data as far as HTTP traffic, which is their main product, and just like general traffic in general, highs and all of that in internet traffic when people go to sleep, when people wake up, the workday and all of that. But right here specifically, around 1300 UTC, internet traffic starts to drop. And what that means is all of this traffic on the solid lines right here is traffic originating from Iranian autonomous systems and going through Cloudflare's network. And the dotted line right there is kind of the average of what is expected. Think of it like a moving average. So previous years, you know, if it's a holiday, there might be deviations, but for the most part, this is the expected values up here, and this is the realized values. So there's nothing leaving Iran, at least connecting to Cloudflare. Now, it's not to say that there is no internet traffic leaving Iran, but for the most part, there's just nothing going out of there. And I'll show you on a technical level how Iran specifically is able to pull this off. So if we go over here, one of the main things to focus on are these terms right here, autonomous systems. Now, for the internet to work, you have this thing called BGP, Border Gateway Protocol, and it's basically a way for different networks to communicate with each other. And you have different configurations in there, but for the most part, that is how internet traffic is able to happen. And in that, you have these things called autonomous systems. And autonomous systems is a group of networks under a single identifier. So you can have Comcast, so Comcast Communications, and they have an autonomous system number. Let's just say autonomous system 1. So autonomous system 1 contains all of these different CIDR notations, all of these IPv4, IPv6 addresses, these prefixes. And basically it's just a clean way to identify a group of systems under a organization. So going back to here, we have these autonomous systems. Now you can look up these different names right here, MCCI, Arancel. I'm sure you can make a determination on what these are. So let's go ahead and take autonomous system 197.207, and we are going to use a tool called Hurricane Electric. Well, it's not a Hurricane Electric. It's not a tool, but they provide a tool for just analyzing BGP data. So we look up the autonomous system right here, 197.207, and we just get some information about it. And we will click on graph V4. So this is the graph of internet traffic originating from this autonomous system to the broader internet. So this is quite literally how the internet can be visualized, is through autonomous systems and how they connect to one another. So if you are a network engineer or if you work in cybersecurity, you might see something in here, or maybe not security. If you're a network reliability engineer specifically, you might see something in here that is just, what the hell? And that is the single point of failure from AS 197207 to AS 496666, or 3 6s. There's one point of failure there, and that's that connection. Now, if we take a look at something that is like in the free world and something that you might be familiar with, and it's something like this, there is no single point of failure to the broader internet. So AS7922 is Comcast, and these are all of the other connections it has to the broader internet. So we have things like Deutsche Telekom, we have Cogent Communications, Verizon Business, so on and so forth. So if you are in one of the networks listed here in Comcast Communications, which if we look at prefixes version 4, if you're in any of these IP ranges, which it's a lot, if you're in any of these IP ranges and you try to connect to literally anything on the internet, you will go through one of these autonomous systems if you're part of this one. So multiple routes in this case, one route. There's one point of failure here. And that one point of failure is, drumroll please, the Iranian government, telecommunication infrastructure company. And if you look up what that is, the state-ran infrastructure for communications. The parent department is Ministry of Information and Communication Technology of Iran. So we click that. It's ran by the government. So what that means on a technical level is that the Iranian government has the sole ability to just cut all internet traffic out, because if you're going to run an ISP in Iran, you have to peer with only the government of Iran. So because of that, they have the ability to do things like mass blackouts like this, where they could just say, okay, all of you are downstream from me, and I'm the sole gate guard to the rest of the internet, and you cannot connect to anyone else because you physically do not have a connection to anyone else, at least broadcasted, because that's the whole purpose of BGP, is that you broadcast who you connect to everyone else. That's how you're able to network. Like, that's how networking works. So you have to physically connect to us, and we are the sole, we could deny you, and everyone underneath us will be denied. That's how that works. So if it's not clicking, one point of failure, AS 496666 is the sole authority to just say, we're done. Versus, let's say, right here, Cogent Communications, they just say, we're done dealing with you, Comcast. Okay, well, Comcast could just route their traffic to 701. Or if 701's like, we're done with you, they could just go to 5511, and so on and so forth. There's different ways they can go about it. Versus Iran, you have single points of failures all over the place. Now, from there, the Iranian government has no problem connecting to everyone else. They have a direct connection, in this case, to Telecom Italia Sparkle. They have a direct connection to GTT Communications, which is a large tier 1. We have a direct connection to Delta Telecom and all of that. So if you are in the Iranian government, you have a direct connection and you're not part of this elaborate allow list, I guess, you could potentially connect out to the internet. So that is what they are doing. Now, historically, Iran has done things like inspect the initial TCP hello packet, part of the TCP handshake, and they're able to take a look at the SNI, which I think is the service name indication. I think that's what that stands for. And basically that has a domain name in it. And if it's like google.com, and if it matches, like, google.com is matching the disallow list in Iran, they could just drop all packets. Or Telegram, if it's like t.me or something like that, they'll drop all packets. Now, I don't think that's what they're doing in this case. It's just a total blackout, regardless of what it is. So things like Tor will not work because Tor, again, requires web traffic. And at the core of web traffic is networking protocols like BGP. And if there is no literal connection to anything else, like physical, like connection to anything else outside of the Iranian government, there is no touring your way out of this. And I want to talk about what I'm talking about because I keep saying physical connection. What does that mean? This is what I used to do. So it's called a meet me room. And this is this is like the core. This is the core of the internet. If you were ever curious, like, where's the center of the internet? You have things like root DNS resolvers and things like meet me rooms. And I'll put a link to this down below. But is a place within a co-location center. So a colo is a type of data center where telecommunication companies can physically connect to one another and exchange data without incurring local loop fees. So a meet me room is where ISPs like Comcast and Verizon will make physical connections to one another, aka these connections. These are meet me rooms. They connect to one another in these places. And they even list out specific locations, like the Weston building where I used to work in Seattle. Major telecommunications hub located in downtown Seattle and is home to the Seattle Internet Exchange. And this is, just an example. If you're just wanting to go down just some crazy rabbit holes, the Seattle Internet Exchange, like we could see, who they connect to from there. Like we have Equinix and Astound Broadband and all of these other like different systems. And you can even see like AristaNet, like just, it's so crazy what rabbit hole you could go down with that. But that is how they do that. So there's probably a meet me room somewhere in Iran where all these telecommunication companies have their, in theory, single point of failure. And then the rest of the internet is connected to the state of Iran. So if the state of Iran just does a config change, deny all downstream, they could do that. And then they kill off internet access to millions of people. Now, what are some like actual ways you can bypass this? The news is talking all about Starlink. Not like this video is going to reach anyone in Iran currently because they just cannot access anything. If you protest in Iran right now, according to the Attorney General of Iran, protesting, you are considered to be an enemy of God, and that means you will die. So also keep that in mind. And Starlink is a way to get information out to the free world, and they don't want you doing that because they want to control the narrative on all that. So that is what is happening on a very short level. Iran controls internet access. That's how they do it. BGP. And then also DNS a little bit, which they will just resolve things like twitter.com to like an RFC 1918 address, which is not correct. So anyways, that is it for this video. If y'all enjoy content like this, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button with the bell notification enabled so you get notified anytime I post a new video. I do plan on making a follow-up video to this once we get more information on what is happening, but I believe this is the first time Iran has just had a blanket like internet outage. Regardless, the only way you could get around it is through satellite internet like Starlink or HughesNet. And maybe if there's like something like some ISP that's not directly connected to Iran's state-ran autonomous system, or you physically leave the country somehow. So yeah, that's the situation right now. So it's not looking good. If you want to learn more about what's happening in Iran, I'll try to find some resources down below. I'm not an expert on the internal affairs of Iran. I could just tell you, as an internet nerd guy myself, how they're physically able to do this. So, yeah, that's it. Y'all take care. Goodbye.